Good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are and watching us right now. Welcome to Extra Shot. I'm Charlotte Kahn. We're live from Windsor at the DSP Leaders World Forum. And I am joined by guests, very prestigious guests, of course, like all our guests at the forum today. So please welcome Nico Marziliano, who's VP of International Telco Sales at Wind River. Thank you for joining us, Marco.
Pleased to invite me.
Anita Döhler, who's CEO at NGMN Alliance. Thank you for being with us.
Hello.
And Mirko Voltolini, who's VP of Innovation at Colt Technology. So thanks for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you.
We have just been attending and following a session on cloud native. Anita, you were on stage. What was your key message?
Well, representing an organization which is operator driven, my main message is, of course, that we need more industry collaboration when it comes to achieve a true cloud nativeness. We see first successful implementations, but at the same time, our members experience that actually there is still a long way to go to achieve openness, compatibility, and interoperability when it comes to cloud nativeness. And this is actually where we will also continue our efforts on.
Thank you very much. And can I ask the other guests about their key takeaways from the conversation we've just heard on telco native, cloud native, sorry?
Well, I like to connect topics. Listening the cloud native conversation now and the previous session about AI makes me thinking about how the two connect. And I think on the AI automation side, one of the key message was makes the AI a buddy, a friend of our engineer, to automate routinary things in an easy way, error-free. Now, cloud native, if you put that in conjunction, that can be, a way the AI may automate the cloud native development, because at the end of the day, I see the complexity and skill set on the cloud native engineers. You may use the AI to generate codes at the cloud native in a faster speed. So the fail fast, that concept can be surpassed by NNI, Gen I kind of technology, and vice versa. Because then with the cloud native, you accelerate the AI creation. My real consideration, the second consideration and challenge is that we talk a lot about innovation, but do we need to innovate only or to invent something? And sometimes we get in the trap that the innovation is just an incremental change, but not a significant disruption change. So is it AI the right tool to create the invention, or is just an innovation tool? That's just my maybe philosophical question. Huh?
Mirko, what sticks with you after the conversation we had on stage about cloud native?
So my key takeaways, if you look at the telecom industry over the last years, and there were talks on the panel about the fact that total shareholder returns has been negative. And so how do we change that? How do we move from a model that we have today where we have traditional operations, development and operations, which has led to stagnating revenues, to a model where we have open cloud native development, DevOps, let's put it that way. It's a massive shift for the industry. It requires us to change technology, requires us to change the skills and the mindset of the people, require us to change the commercial model. So it's a massive change across these three dimensions.
And I guess we should have started with this conversation with a definition around what we mean by cloud native, and maybe separate it from cloud hosting. What's your take on this, Nico?
Well, yeah, I think there was a great analogy in the furniture. I don't remember the name. The other, the presenter, she was giving a great example in the difference. I mean, the flexibility that the cloud native gives is completely, as I just related to the AI, is a difference between Gen AI and AI eventually, where the Gen AI is really creating not automated routine, but is really try to being able to create heuristic in the solution, which are not necessarily routinary. Cloud native open up completely different kind of opportunity in software development that can be completely different from what the hosting solution, which is capacity in computing, was already probably available in the industry since decades, I would say.
Okay. Do you want to follow up on that, Anita?
How do we define cloud nativeness? I think it's so NGMN issued a cloud native manifesto just in autumn last year. It is an operator-driven document, but I think it's really reflecting what the industry understands under cloud native, and it's a good summary, like APIs first, or intent declarative and intent-based automation, DevOps processes, a meaningful certification, end-to-end certification, so that Kubernetes or alike reconciliation patterns. So all that should support that it's easy to add applications, to let applications talk to each other, to compose services, to react on customer demand, and to enable security and a fast deployment. And of course, total cost of ownerships and efficiency. And I think that's something which is going beyond cloud, the concept of cloud hosting. Yeah.
To add on top of that, the transition from the current way of operating networks to a model where the roles of engineers, architects, project managers, analysts is expanded and changed and increased. If you think about how today we operate and develop networks, network engineer is working on his own portion of the stack. The model changes to expand the role from an automation engineer to a test and quality assurance engineer to a DevOps engineer. So, and again, also on the governance side, you can think about the changing role of managing projects. How do you control the development, moving from that model to a model we have Scrum Masters. So you have agile control of the process. So that's the other angle I would add on top of it.
Yeah. Now, if I
follow up on that.
While you were talking, think about another analogy of what the cloud native is. It's like in the language. So the cloud native is a kind of a grammar that will create a kind of new Esperanto language compared to the dialect or the local language. Because now we are vertically. I mean, you develop a software which is vertically integrated and is just native for the German, the Italian, the French, the English. It's just very proprietary. And then you go to the Esperanto language, which is going to be a grammar that everybody can just combine and recombine and contribute at the end of the day. So everybody can talk the same language.
But sadly, Nico, as two Europeans, I think we can agree that Esperanto was not exactly a very successful European project, was it?
I know after I say that Esperanto, but just not to say the English.
Common language.
Common language. Yeah,
of course.
Language. Yes, indeed.
I'd like to ask you all one more question before we take a very short break and we talk about how we go about implementing cloud native, of course. It's the fact that we need to do more, or the industry needs to do more to create sector-wide definitions of cloud native, which is what we've attempted to do here, and cloud native capabilities for software and hardware in order to give DSPs confidence to invest in new products that will really be cloud native. So how do we create that environment of trust and confidence?
I can start. So I was thinking again about that massive transition was referring earlier, the fact that today we're operating in a certain manner, traditional manner, and it's a massive change across the three dimensions: technology, people, and commercial. How do we go about that? Typically what we have done is that we build islands. We start with the team, you build the initial technology, you build the factory on top of it, and then you build the commercials. And I think that's a way to prove how this model can work and what benefits it can bring from both the efficiency standpoint and the commercial standpoint. How can we take services to market faster? How we can reduce the cost of what we build? And I think the challenge is expanding from that small initial deployment of the capability across the board to take over the rest, because it's easy enough to build this initial portion of the stack and then need to expand it. And I think for that you need to be able to run programs that, for instance, take the technology and move them across the board, take the people investment you made and move that also alongside to other technologies, to the other parts of the stack.
Anita, let's hear from you before we take a break.
Yeah, I believe that we need to achieve that operators or anyone, every party in the value chain, don't need to retest stuff again and again. So we really need to achieve a common understanding of what does it mean to have a containerized application, and for being able to substitute and to really compose services without having the risk of non-working services there. And I think that's something where industry initiatives play a role. So it's also something where, when it comes to the technology basics, the operators don't really differentiate anyway. So the operators differentiate when it comes to the services, to the customer experience. And therefore, it's about to really agree on specific schemes and requirements when it comes to how we assess the cloud nativeness of platforms and applications.
Anita, Mirko and Nico, thank you very much. Stay tuned. We're back in 5 minutes for more discussions around cloud native. Stay with us. And we are back at Extra Shot live from Windsor, from the DSP Leaders World Forum, where I'm delighted to be joined by Nico Marziliano. Nico is Vice President of International Telco Sales at Wind River. Hello again, Nico. And to Mirko Voltolini, who's Vice President of Innovation at Colt Technology. So thanks for sticking with us, okay? Before the break, we were talking about how we create cloud-native software engineering teams. And let's talk about the challenges to do that and the various obstacles and hurdles you are facing. What are they? Is it lack of interoperability, lack of end-to-end integration? What would you say are the key challenges?
I can start, yes. So let's define what I think the problem we need to solve. So I think we need a cloud-native platform, which is technology-related. We need a cloud-native factory, which is more people and process-related. How do we shift from the current model to the future model? I think for the platform, some obstacle we have today, we need to rethink about our existing stack. I think it's impossible to build cloud native capability, sticking to the current technology stack we have, think about our OSS, BSS. That needs to be rethought from the ground because it's impossible to build on top of that and change. So that's on the platform side. On the factory side, so people and skills and mindset, we need to rethink about the roles, moving engineers and architects to the new model, which is about upskilling. It is about also bringing in new talents, and it is about changing the way we operate with those teams. So moving away from waterfall to agile type of development.
Okay, Nico, before hearing from you, I feel I have to apologize to the audience for the noise, the racket happening in the background. It's the pinball tournament, isn't it? One of the attractions, of course, of the forum. And obviously, we've got very keen players this afternoon, given the noise they're making. Good luck to them. Anyway, Nico, go for it.
Yeah, thank you. I have to say, we are from, at least from Wind River perspective, we have an advantage as our company is completely focused on a Kubernetes cloud native. I mean, we are cloud native first, so we are natively on a cloud native. Sorry for the jargon, for the joke.
For the pun.
But so the challenge we face is not internally. I mean, from an engineering perspective, our team is a cloud native by definition, and we are the one believing and pushing for that. Our challenge is, on the contrary, is helping the client to go toward the cloud native. So our challenge is slightly different. So it's how to educate, how to help the client, how to enable the cloud native world to be enabled. That is not always easy because, as you have heard in the panel, cultural change, skill set, mindset are still there. And then you have a lot of legacy to be maintained, because also from a business perspective, I think one of the topics that was mentioned but not completely touched is the legacy has to be there, because still it's attached to a return on investment, for which you cannot just simply wipe out and say, okay, I will replace with a cloud native. So you need to keep the transition, not only because of the legacy of the technology and the skill set, but also because you have a business to maintain. Operator, they need to maintain their today ongoing activities, so they cannot just simply change over the night.
Being successful is also a matter of mindset and culture, isn't it? The telco industry is not exactly known for its fail fast attitude or concept as loved by big tech, for instance. So how can we encourage that a bit more within the sector?
Well, if I can follow what I was just saying before, I think that, and it comes across various conversations in the different panels. Definitely, maybe start small, MVP product, but stick on it. There was a message this morning from one from Hoffman. He was saying that do small, stick on it, and keep going until it's scale up. And the same here. So we need to have an opportunity to prove it. In telco, there has been a very good moment in the last decades in terms of the business model was pretty easy. Connectivity, you get a customer, subscriber, grow, boom, boom, boom. You grow the business just by expanding connectivity. Then, of course, when the maturity level of the technology and the market is reached, then how you go to the next level. That is exactly the challenge that telco has been facing and is now facing today.
Yeah, I think it's a massive shift. We need to rethink how we've been operating. Significant transition. We have a model. So I come from a fixed network operator where we've been used to work in a certain manner for the last 20, 30 years. So it's a significant change. So it requires a lot of leadership first of all, and I think again that needs to come from the top. You cannot expect that the companies will change automatically without that top level leadership. The second angle is about I think we need to purposely set money, time, and people aside to actually work in that fail-safe model. If you don't, then there is always the risk that we think that we're going to lose money. So if you set aside a certain amount of money that you're going to invest into some informed bets, but with the ability to actually lose some of that investment, that will change the picture. And I think you need to start somewhere, actually set something up to do that.
Last year at the DSP Leaders World Forum, there were loads of conversations around skills, upskilling, teams in particular. And do you feel that the sector currently has the skills, the workforce at its disposal to become cloud native? I mean, and how do you go about it? Internal efforts, external efforts, contractors, partners? How do you address that skills issue?
Well, as I said before, we do have the right skill set and mindset, if you wish, on our company. But listening to partners, listening to clients, generally there is a general sentiment, not only specifically on the cloud native skill set, but in general, in that sector, in our sector, there is a lack of engineering people that want to embrace that unit. So how do we make the new generation, how do we make the younger at the university getting excited? Oh, I want to be in the telco, I want to be in the cloud, I want to be in that industry. We need to make it more sexy, if you allow me to say, in it more attractive, more really, and the way of being attractive can be multiple, can be, career, can be having the freedom, having in a kind of startup mentality, the possibility to get them. If you look at the younger, do you want to be in that kind of sector? I don't know. I mean, we're facing a huge problem. A lot of people say, hey, Nico, do you have names to suggest me? I want to hire 10 engineers or 5 engineers, 2 engineers. They are really out of the university, there are only few people that are getting out as an engineer.
It's true.
Yeah, reality is that it's impossible to find enough people on the market. So I think it's a combination of upskilling, reskilling the existing workforce, and I think there is a good amount of people in engineering or operations that are willing and able to do that. So that's an element. Then there is also the help we can get from partners and vendors. So I tend 100% agree on that, and then is the internal influx from the outside. So how you make it attractive, as Nico was just saying, how do we make the industry much more appealing than what it is today to attract young talent? I think there are lots of recipes for that.
One more question before I let you go and attend the last leg of the forum. How have you found the conversation so far? What have you heard in particular that really resonated with you?
Yeah, well, from my side is what I just said before. You know, the connection between, it makes me thinking a lot about this AI and the cloud native. So, and how AI and Gen AI will be, you know, transforming, and how that goes between innovation and invention. For me, that is a critical ask and question that is not easy to be answered. So, innovation comes from a stepwise changes. We need sometimes to invent something new. Honestly, I feel like we need to have a significant radical change.
Mirko.
So there is a general thread across, as Nico was saying, across this panel so far: innovation, AI, cloud native. I think I expect great from the rest of the event as we continue to talk about important topics. So across the board.
Fantastic. Okay. Many thanks to both of you, and enjoy the rest of the forum indeed. We're back for more in an hour's time. Stay tuned.